Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half practicing our body, our mind, and what we call the chi, the life energy that is the bridge between the body and the mind. And then after hour and a half, I will do a Dharma talk, which is optional, only for those who are interested in learning more about Buddha's teaching. And if you don't have time to stay, you can also just catch it up on YouTube. Okay. All right. So today we rotate every week. For those who are new here, we rotate every week. Last week was about breathing exercise, specifically about abdominal breathing exercise, and that's actually a very important part of chi. In this case, just breathing, right? Breathing properly, breathing in a way that restore the harmony between your sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. In other words, restoring your self healing power. Now we continue to do that from a different aspect. And today's exercise at the very end of the class, when we get off the sitting position, would be something called Yi Jing Jing, YJJ. And uh, someone asked, "Is that qigong?" Well, you can call it qigong. Qigong is a very modern word, but this one is passed down by Bodhidharma, a North Indian yogi who visited China about 1600 years ago, known as the first patriarch of the Zen meditation. But in any case, Yi Jing Jing in this case, it can be translated into Yi, in this case, is renewal. And then the last J means the practice or the sutra or the book on. And then the middle one, the middle J, um, in my opinion, is often mistranslated. It's translated into tendon, like the muscle, where in fact it should be translated into connected tissue, right? Chinese language is a very interesting one in that a single word has no unique meaning. And in this case, it's really more about the connective tissue. The modern science start to call it fascia, myofascia, but the modern understanding is mainly on the muscle. That's what the word myo means. Whereas the traditional Chinese think of it as a very comprehensive network, communication network in the system that is outside of the understanding of the modern scientists. Okay, all right, enough of that. So we're going to start with some massage, some acupressure, some tapping, some scraping, basically working on these connective tissue channels, the chi channels, to clear any blockage that allows the life energy to flow through us. And the saying is that once your chi is clear, you have no more pain. Pain is a indication of inflammation in your body, chronic inflammation. All right. So let's go. All right. So let's start with the fingertips. So let's bring out our left hand using our right thumb. You can use the front part of the thumb, or you can use the first joint. Either way. And I want you to first massage the tip of the fingers. Now, I was explained that I'm not sure I explained it last Saturday. An observation, right? I have my wife have a new nephew, and reminds me of my two child and all the baby that I ever met. And human babies are kind of funny. They're the least capable, right? A horse, when they're born, they can start running, right? A bird, they can swallow whole food. Human babies can't do much, right? All right. So now we're done with the fingertips, and now we're going to work on the joints, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. Again, using the right thumb, and just kind of massage the front of the joint, the left of the joint, back to the front, and then to the right. Okay. Now one joint at a time, one finger at a time. But there's one thing that the human baby can do that no other animal can do. It's kind of interesting. So if you see a baby, next time try it. If you see a baby, stick out one finger, just one, put it in the palm, and immediately she hold on to your fingers. She knows he knows how to do that. He or she knows how to do that. But no other animal can no other babies in the animal kingdom knows how to do that. That is the one thing that we know how to do that separate us in evolution. Way back when, before we know how to stand up straight, what is called the Homo erectus, All right, so now we're going to take the left thumb and then work on the right hand, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. It is because our ancestor, back in the days when we're not that different from the monkeys and the apes, decided to use their finger and grab onto a tree branch, break it off, and use it as a weapon that we were able to walk down the trees. And once we walk down the trees, we start to learn how to walk upright. And then eventually became Homo sapien, which is the beginning of our ancestry. So it's all about the fingers. So health also starts with the fingers, particularly your neurological health. It is the use of the fingers that allows us to develop the brain. And so when we want to prevent decay of a brain, we don't want it to lead to Alzheimer, dementia, which is part of that, or Parkinson. The Chinese believe that it's all about the fingers, working on the fingers. All right. So now we're working the palm of the hand. So let's flip it over and continue to work on the back of the hand. Once again, starting with the tip of the fingers, but this time we're going to work on the two corners of the fingernail. And so just use your index finger and your thumb and just kind of squeeze that. It turns out that when we talk about these connective tissue, these communication channel, this chi channel, they all start at the fingertips, and many of them start at the corner of the fingernail. All right, so work on the right, one finger at a time. And now we're back to the joints, and then one joint at a time, one finger at a time, but working on the back of the hand now. Okay, back of the hand, back of the hand, one joint at a time. Now, what you find is that as we age, we have pain in the fingers, arthritis, and so this provides some relief, right? Now work on the right hand, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. But as it turns out, when you work on massage your finger, it not only relieves pain in your fingertip, in your fingers, relieving the arthritis, it relieves pain all over the body, right? So I highly recommend that you do this, right? More than once a week. You can do this while you're sitting down watching TV, in between sessions. You could do all that, right? All right. So now we're going to continue to work on the back, but this time we're going to work between the joints. So I want you to hold a fist on the left hand. Use the right thumb, but this time I want you to use the edge of the thumb and kind of feel it in between the knuckles and just kind of massage that. You feel some numbness, some pain. That's good. That means that you found the place where the chi is blocked, and you just kind of keep working on it. And so there's a whole family, there's a whole school of massage called the fascia massage. And the key to fascia massage is not to massage your muscle, your body parts until it stops aching, but it's really more about opening the channel so that the body heal itself. All right. So now we're going to work on the back of the hand, but this time we notice the fingers are individual bones. They eventually join at what is that called? But in that case, we take the finger and we kind of slide it at the wrist and just kind of slide that in between the bones. You feel a little bit of numbness when you do that. Now you notice that we do that. We start with the finger, but eventually we do the same thing with the toes, right? All right. So now when the bones join together the wrist, you can actually feel two dimple and just kind of push on that using some pressure, right? Some pressure. All right. So now we're going to work on the thumb individually, right? The thumb is the part that really separate us from the rest of the animal kingdom. It's the use of the thumb. All right. So massage the thumb all around the thumb, and then you notice that the thumb is like a little drumstick. So there's a big part here that's just very meaty. So I want you to use the right hand, use that knuckle, and just kind of push down on that. Now, when you go to a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, they actually observe your body, and this is the one part that they observe is how uh, this actually is a good indicator of your health. All right. So now we're going to work on the right hand, same thing, holding a fist, showing them in between the knuckle. Take the left thumb, the edge of the thumb, just kind of slide that in between the knuckle, and then slide that in between the bones on the back of the hand. And then do some pressure here on the joint. Work on the thumb. My thumb hurts. Right? I have been using my thumb since I was 3 years old, holding my first pen. I always get pen for my birthday because my birthday is in September. It's the beginning of the school year. That's the only gift my father gives me is a new pen for the school year. All right, so now we use the knuckle and then just kind of push down on that. All right, so we work on the palm, we work on the back, and so we're going to come back to the palm. And I want you to talk about this one energy point right in the center of the palm. So you follow these index finger and the middle finger, you come down to the center of the palm. So I want you to kind of push into that energy point, maybe even use a knuckle. Same thing on the other side, use a knuckle maybe. And then I want you to put that together. And I want you to massage the palm of the hand. This is your healing hand now. This is the healing energy point. It's the only one that can give out energy, positive energy, right? And then I want you to put the right on top of the left, massage the back of the hand with the palm of the hand, and then squeeze the fingers a little bit. And then I want you to work on the other side. Okay, so we're done with the fingers. It's now ready to do some finger exercise. Okay, as I said, the finger exercise is very important for your neurological health because it's the thing that we do. Is what our ancestors is to develop their intellect. Right, it's the beginning of evolution. It's all from the fingers. But there's no reason for wanting to work on the fingers. So the Chinese believe that whether it is the health of the body, the health of the mind, the health of the planet, the health of the universe, it's all about harmony. And the harmony is about the five elements. Just think about how the earth developed into a habitat for living creatures. It starts with water, then it's vegetation, then it's the sun, then it's the soil, and then finally it's the mineral. So those are the five elements that has to work in harmony. And so when they see the fingers, they see all the five elements in our fingers. But in addition, they see the how it connects to our internals. So, for example, the kidney is the water element. The liver is the vegetation element. The heart is the sun, the fire, and then the splint is the soil, and then finally the lung is the mineral. So all those are the five elements, and the five elements are connected through a finger. So by working on the fingers, it also work on the inside. Okay, that's what they believe. That's what they believe. Okay, hang on just one second. There we go. Hang on. Okay, so we got to work on the fingers. So there are two sets of finger exercise. This first one is invented by a professor, university professor, who after he retired, he developed a minor stroke, and then he started to learn qigong exercise, and then he documented how this set exercise actually helped with his recovery, and then as people find out, it also reduced the chance of stroke. So it's a very simple exercise. It's a very simple exercise, and so Dylan has a very very encouraging comment. He says, "I'm excited to do this on my grandpa. His hand doesn't look like to work after stroke." And all right, okay, so show this to him and maybe give him some encouragement. And I have nothing. We all have nothing but positive energy. He would feel that positive energy. All right, so that would so it's a very simple one, very simple one. You take your thumb, you take your index fingers, you push them together, and you push as hard as you can. Now this is going to be tough for someone who suffered from a minor stroke, but that's the point. Start, and then as you start, you develop the strength. Okay, now to the middle finger and push. Now to the ring finger and push. Now to the pinky, the small fingers, and push. And then this is the first half of the exercise. That's it. The second half, is when you take the thumb and just put it wherever is comfortable in the middle of the fingers, and you push and you push and you push and you push. That's it. Okay, that's it. Now it's actually causes some pain, right? And remember now, pain means that your chi is blocked. Chi block means inflammation. Stroke is from inflammation. All right. Okay, so now the next set of exercise is equally important, if not more so. It's about the health of your brain. In particular, it's about the health in terms of separation between the left and the right. I speak a lot about dementia. I consider myself an expert in dementia because I spent my a good part of my life taking care of my father who gone through the stages. And one of the things that I noticed is that when I look back, it wasn't the loss of memory that was the beginning of his illness. It was really the loss of coordination, right? My mom was started to complain how my dad was washing dishes and keep dropping them. Now, so this exercise requires that we separate the left brain from the right brain. It also requires us to activate our fingers one at a time. It is just that simple. But on the other hand, it's a chi exercise, so it's very important that we come back to our posture. And I want you to locate the bottom of your spine. I want you to walk up the spine towards the top of the head, stretch the joints as if you're stretching them one joint at a time. Stretch that spine as hard as you can. And then I want you to lean back the upper torso and then relax, putting the weight on the spine and not on the muscle. But more importantly, clearing the channel. This very important channel is the spine, is all the yang energy um, goes through. Now I want you to locate the top of your shoulder. I want you to lift up your shoulder as hard as you can. And then I want you to open the shoulder, squeeze the back of the, and then I want you to relax. All right. Now I want you to take out your right hand, focus only on the right hand, focus on the thumb, and then just bring the thumb to the middle of your palm. Then I want you to focus on two fingers and bring them to the center of your palm. Then is the index finger, and then is the little finger. Now I want you to bring out the left hand, focus entirely on the left hand, bring in the thumb, the two fingers, the index, and the little fingers. Now I want you to squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze as hard as you can. Back to the right hand, opening the fingers but in reverse order, one finger at a time. The little one, the index, the two fingers, and then the thumb. Now focus on the left hand, the little one, the index, two fingers, and the thumb. Then I want you to stretch as hard as you can. Now, this is the first time. Second time, we're going to speed up a little bit. Right hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Open it back up in reverse order. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. All right. And then finally, one last time, back to the right hand. Index two, thumb, index, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. I'm still right, just saying it wrong. Thumb, index, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. And then squeeze as hard as you can. Open it back up in reverse order. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. All right. Now, this is known as a good exercise for the brain. Okay, neurological health is your health. Trust me. All right, so now we're going to put our palms together, the fingers together, push as hard as you can, sit up straight. Remember the spine now. Sit up straight, and then just bring the hand down through the pain on your wrists, and then back up. We're going to start doing some tapping first at the beginning of the fingertips. All right, holding your fingertips together, tap 30 times. Try to stay focused on your fingers. Get ready, go. Okay, now we're going to cross the fingers, this time going from the fingertips to in between the fingers, and we're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Okay, now the fingers are so important that it reminds me of an article that I read about a um, um, a nun, a Catholic nun, right, a koji, and um, um, after she died, because people noticed something, there was something going on with her, and after she died, the doctor examined her and discovered that she actually was suffering from dementia. Right? She has all the signs, the brain has all the signs of dementia, but yet she didn't, there was no deterioration. People didn't see that. There was something that she was doing that allows her to reverse the degradation and basically live a healthy life until the very end. And then they start to understand that, well, in her spare time, I mean, she works all the time. She's a nun, right? She devote herself to the society. But in her spare time, she was knitting. She was knitting gauze for the homeless. So basically, she never stopped working on her fingers, right? So I love this story. All right. So we're going to continue to tap, but this time we're going to tap the palm of a hand, and the five fingers actually are the beginning of the six meridians. Three of them are yin, which means the inside the palm. Three of them are yang. Yang means the sun. Yin means the absence of the sun. And the one that comes down from uh, uh, the little fingers is the heart. But the Chinese, they don't separate the mechanical heart or the physical heart with the mental heart. So this one actually more about the mental side. And there's a very important energy point right here. There's also a very important energy point right here, which we worked on a little bit. This is heart, mind. This is all mind. This is lung. But actually, the Chinese, they don't think of it in terms of individual organ. They think of this as fire, and they think of this as mineral. So we're going to put our palms together, all right, the muscle facing the muscle, forming a V, and we're going to tap this energy points 30 times. Okay, now we're going to flip and work on this part. Now we're working on the lung energy lines 30 times. Okay, now this is the mind, and this is the lung. This is on the inside, in YAN, and then now on the yang side, turns out that the yang energy line for the mind is the small intestines. Right? I remember mentioned many times that there's a study now that links Parkinson with digestion, problem with digestion. So I can see that, and so to find this energy point, you just take your hand, you fold it like this. You see the line that go across. It's right here. So now you put your hands together, fold it flat, and then hold up a soft fist and then tap that 30 times. And then taking this energy point and put that in between the thumb and the index finger. You see this valley? This energy point is called the merging valley. Take that, put that on top. This is small intestine. This is actually large intestine. Large intestine is the yang side of the lung. So both of them are mineral, right? So one has to do the intake and one has to do with outlet. So in a way, the large intestine is what's responsible for detoxification, right? So you put that on top like this 30 times. And then the other way. Okay. Now, the Chinese have a very interesting way of describing the internal organs. First of all, it separates into the yin and the yang. The yin organs are the organs that are developed first when you're inside your mother's womb, right? Things like the heart, the lung, right? The splint, turns out, and then also the kidney, right? So there are five that are developed first, and they're the yin organs. But they also call the treasure organs, meaning that they contain the treasure in that essentially what gives you life, right? The idea is that if you don't use it, or you use it up, that's the end of it. So you're giving kind of like the eggs in your ovary. Now, the yang side of that, for each yin organ, there's a yang organ. The yang organs are the ones that develop later, things that you don't actually need in the beginning, right? So things like the intestines, the small and the large intestines, things like the gallbladder, things like the stomach, right? You don't need to digest food yet. And so they're the the yin organ. I mean, and the yang organ, sorry. But whereas the yin organs are called the treasure organs, and the yang organs are called the chamber organs, that they're empty inside, right? The small intestine, the large intestine, the stomach, and all that. They're just basically an empty chamber that allows the nutrients or the toxins to go through. And so the Chinese think of these yang organs as a way of clearing your channel. In particular, this one outside, which is the one that they name after the large intestine, that it has a lot to do with pain, right? So I'm going to introduce you some energy points along here that will help to relieve pain. Remember now, pain is inflammation, chronic inflammation. All right, so the first one is what I call the merging valley. We're going to do some acupressure now. So I want you to open your fingers like this. See the ridge right here? Then I want you to take your thumb and see the line right here. You put that line on top and you just kind of squeeze down and you feel a little bit of numbness, right? A little bit of numbness. And so this energy point is well known for uh, relieving high blood pressure as well as relieving pain on the shoulder, pain on the neck. Now I want you to move along outside of the bone until you get to the bent. So this energy point is very easy to find. Just use the thumb push down. And this is called the pond at the bent, which again has to do with relieving high blood pressure and also with cholesterol. Cholesterol is inflammation, right? Because your blood vessel inflames, your body puts out cholesterol as a way of healing the inflammation. The cholesterol is not the reason, right? All right, so now I want you to measure back 4 fingers, locate the bone on the outside, and push down. Now, this one, if you have you twisted your back, which happens sometimes, and this one will leave some pain, right? All right, so now move up to the shoulder, measure 4 fingers down. This is another one that also helps to relieve some pain, like the neck pain. And then same thing on the other side, push down, move to the bend, push down, 4 fingers back on the outside the bone, push down. This one really works. And then from the shoulder down and push down. Now I mentioned a lot of pain on my thumb. This is what's been bothering me now. There was a time when the shoulder bothers me, but that seems to go away now. There's another energy point that I discovered that works really well with your thumb, which is you take. I'll start with the left hand, and you take your left hand, you take your right hand, you cross them. Then you take the index finger on the right hand, you measure over. Then you took your thumb, you put that on top, and you balance a little bit on top of the bone, and you push down. And then you notice that the bone cracks. And this energy point relieve pain on the thumb. Helps, helps a great deal. All right, so now let's do it on the other side. Use the index finger, measure your magic tool, measuring tool. Put your thumb on top, balance it first, and then push down. You notice that the bone cracks, right? Okay, so this one really helps with the thumb. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna continue working from the fingers to the shoulder. We're gonna do some scraping now. This is another modality of scraping, And we're going to scrape from the elbow to the wrist. So there's three energy points on the elbow, which we'll come back to. And then there's three energy points around the wrist that I like to introduce you to. One is that if you fold your hands slightly along I mean, I'm sorry, you bend your hands back slightly and you follow your pinky. There's a piece, there's like a bone right here, and you just go down a little bit. There's a cavity. So this one is I don't know why, but it was famous in TikTok for a while. People discovered that and they said, "Oh, this one helps with my sleep," which is true. All right. Now, same thing on this side. On the thumb, you fold back a little bit. You feel the bone. Right below the bone is a cavity. So this one actually helps with your lung. Okay. So if you find yourself huffing and puffing, walking the stairs, this one will help. Now, then the middle one is what we call the pericardium. This is all the muscles and outside the heart. So which is really the heart. Right. This is an empty vessel. So come down to the wrist, then measure three fingers, put the thumb inside, the fingers on the outside, massage. So this one helps with the heart, especially when you have an irregular heartbeat. All right. On the other side, and then over here, and then the middle. Now, I'm not a doctor here, so if you have a irregular heartbeat, you should go see the doctor, okay? I'm not here to try to dissuade you from having a pacer. All right. I'm all about um, uh, self healing. All right. Okay. So now from the elbow, self healing basically means prevention of sickness. Okay. Prevention. All right. So from the elbow to the wrist, I'm going to use my favorite scraping tools, but you can also buy one on Amazon. Right. And then you just kind of scrape at the elbow, move along the center line until you get to the part where is where you normally wear a watch. This is where uh, and then to the wrist, come back to the elbow. All right, so this is the center line of the inside of your arm. Then you locate the bone. On the inside of the bone is the one that we name after the lung. Again, from the elbow all the way down to the wrist and then back. And then now we're going to work on the bone. Okay, because after all, it's called meridian, which means that there's also cross flow, and the cross flow goes over the bum. And while you're scraping the bum, see if you notice any kinks. And if you notice any kinks, that means that you have blockage. All right. Now we're going to work on the outside of the bone. That's the large intestine, remember? Then we're going to work on the center line, which has an energy line called the triple warmer, which has no equivalent in the Western science, medical science. Then we're going to scrape the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, the fingers again, the back of the hand, and then straight, and then scrape, and then rotate your arms, right? I'm sure some of you, not all of you, feel some pain, right? When you do that, that's a good sign. That means that there's blockage and you're relieving the blockage, and you notice that magically, after a while, it stop aching, stop pain. All right. Now we're going to have this one energy line remaining, which is the mental side of the mind, and we're going to scrape about 4 inches from the wrist, which has four energy points that will help you hopefully sleep through the night. Right. This is very important. Sleep through the night, and then all the way down to the elbow. Okay, all right. Now we're going to work on the right side, but I'm going to talk a little bit about. Now I got distracted with the election, as you can tell, and so before the election, I was talking about neurological health as the key to our health, right? As we age, it's very important to maintain the neurological health. And I took my mom to a neurologist, and she's a very, very interesting person. She said her way of teaching neurological health is neuron, Neuro. So N has to do with nutrition. So I interpret that as probiotic health, right? So the small intestine is a very important part of our digestive system, and if we have good digestions, then the body take care of itself. And so by nutrition, I meant eating the right kind of fiber eating the right kind of food that allows the, the probiotic to grow well in your stomach. So things like food that are um, full of that are fermented food, right? So I go to Japan about 3 times a year. At least I try to. And one of the things I like is the fermented food, very natural. I go to the villages. I don't go to the city, and that's one. The opposite of that is stay away from preservatives, stay away from antibiotics, because what do? They kill germs, and so now they kill your probiotics. So and that is known as the second brain. Okay, your small intestines are known as second. N stands for nutrition. E stands for exercise. So I like to do the kind of exercise that doesn't overexert itself, but the kind of exercise that also maintain the balance between your fight or flight and your rest and digest. So that's what we do here. Every time we do a energetic exercise, we spend equal time to restore uh, and so, if you want to kind of make it a little bit more scientific, it's really about promoting um, steroid in your body when you're excited. That allows the steroid to reduce the inflammation in your body, reduce the chronic inflammation, but at the same time, restore that sensitivity to the steroid. That's exercise, right? Now, you is unwinding. So that's clear. We do a lot of meditation here, right? Unwinding. Yoga, right? Any kind of exercise that unwinds or is restorative. Sleep is very important. So the doctor says make sure that when as soon as you lie down on the bed, try to go to sleep right away. Don't try not to wake up looking at the ceiling and can't go to sleep. So which is not that difficult to do if you're very tired, right? But the problem is that you wake up and then the doctor says, well, when you do wake up in the middle of the night, make sure you go right back. Don't make it into an excuse to, work on the house. Don't stay away from your phone, all that. And then finally, it gets to the O. And fortunately, unfortunately, I didn't listen. I forgot what she said. I did what she said. But to me, open is openness, open to new learning, open to new friends, open to service to society, all of that, right? So we'll talk about that in the future, all right? So let me catch up to what I was starting to do before the election. And so, but we're done with scraping, right? So now we do the right hand. So again, using your knuckle, start at the center line from the wrist, from the elbow to the wrist, back to the elbow, and then locate the bone inside of the bone, and then back to the elbow, and then along the bone, and then rotate the hand slightly so you're on the outside of the bone, and then the center line, the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, the fingers, the back of the hand, and then the center line, which is called the triple warmer. Rotate slightly on the outside of the bone, on the bone, inside the bone, the center line, and then finally this one to help you sleep. Okay, so all the way from here to the elbow and back. Okay, now one of the things that the Chinese pay attention to is right here. This muscle here. This is the one of the things that we lose. This is the first piece of muscle that we lose as we age. That's why it affects us sleep a lot because they believe that this is part of the mind meridian, the heart meridian. Okay, so um, so when we do the I Ching exercise, you'll notice that there's a one exercise that we actually use this part, right? So this is very important. Okay, so now we're gonna do some more. We're gonna work on from the fingers, and now we're gonna continue up. And so now I want you to sit up straight, stretch, open your shoulder, lean back, relax, pointing all 4 fingers in front, all 5 fingers in front. Okay, now the 4 fingers are the spring, the thumb is what's holding down the springs. I want you to lock the elbow. I want you to wind up the springs, but hold it in And then get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now this one is very good if you have carpal tunnel. Okay, so it's basically action equal to reaction, right? Action going out is what we call yang. Action coming back is what we call yin. All right. Now I also find when I fly and I got stuck on the plane for 14 hours, I find a great urge to do this because my chi is not circling right, and this really helps. Now then we're going to continue the next exercise doing the same thing, but more about the shoulder. So again, we sit up, we open the shoulder, we lean back, we relax. Once we open the shoulder, this two energy point is very important. It's part of the lung energy point, and it's called the gate to the cloud. So we're going to take our 5 fingers. We're going to put the thumb and the middle fingers together. We push. Then we take the other 3. We stretch. This is called the lotus hand. We put the lotus hand on top of the gate to the cloud. We once again open the shoulders, stretch your spine, back of the hand facing the camera. Get ready. 1, back of the hand facing the camera. Come back, lotus hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? All right. So we continue. We continue. There's a big part of the body. We only cover a small part. We're going to do the whole body. And now we're going to work on how the shoulder connects to the top of the head. And then right now we work on the back of the neck. Okay? Now the back of the neck and the shoulder is very important, especially if you're taking high blood pressure medicine. Because what happens is that when you have high blood pressure, your brain is not receiving enough oxygen, which increase the pressure of the heart in order to survive. The doctor gives you high blood pressure medicine because um, he's trying to, instead of trying to heal you, he's removing your symptom. And as a result, you have even less oxygen to your head, and your chi is blocked, your shoulder hurts, right? And so it's very common. So I want you to sit up straight. I want you to put your hands together, put that in the back of your neck, head. And then I want you to use your thumb and just feel the two sides of the neck, and there's a cavity there. Okay, this is called the wind, the pond of wind. So I want you to push in with your thumb. I want you to lean back your neck, maintain the pressure, feel the numbness, the tenderness, and just hold it as if you're squeezing a water hose. And then I want you to let go. Then I want you to take the right hand, put that on the left side, push down with your 4 fingers, lean back your neck, providing the pressure. And then I want you to grab the left side of the neck, gently pull it to the right, as if you're opening the channel. Same thing on the other side, push down and then pull it to the left. And then now I want you to take the right hand, put that under the ear, and just kind of massage. You need to tell yourself to relax. You need to be your own whisperer. Relax. Now on the other side, relax, relax, relax. Now I want you to put the right hand on top of the ear, sit up straight, and then just come down along the bone. Relax, relax, relax. Now left hand side, left hand on the right side. Relax, relax, relax. Now I want you to use 2 thumbs, put that on top of the palm of chi, and then do a little bit of massage. Then I want you to move towards the ear on top of the bone. This is a very important energy point if you want to get a good night's sleep. And massage, you feel the pain? Yeah. And then I want you to use thumb on one side, fingers on the other, and then kind of massage the neck. Notice that we're not really massaging the muscle, we're just kind of massaging the energy points. And now I want you to move down to the middle of the neck, doing the same thing. There's another 2 energy points here. And then I want you to stay inside your clothes, but go down to right here. And then just kind of squeeze this part, squeeze this part. All right, come back. All right, so this whole neck, still massage that. All right, so now that's the back of the neck. So the side of the neck, the left side, I want you to take the right hand, use the index finger, the edge of the index finger, and just kind of scrape the left side of the neck. And then I want you to massage the top of the shoulder. Okay, there's an energy point here. The back, and then towards the center where we were doing some massage earlier. Come back to the middle, and then go towards the shoulder, and then massage the shoulder. Same thing on the other side. Use the hand, scrape, massage the top of the shoulder, the cavity down, the cavity on towards the center, back to the center, towards the shoulder, and then massage. Okay, all right. All right, so now we're gonna work on the front of the face. All right, so back, we're gonna use our chamber of labor and push down a little bit here, push down a little bit here. Now we're gonna put that together. We're gonna keep focus on the center of palm, and then we're gonna massage the palm of the hand without leaving, without completely focus. Now we're gonna put that on the eye, and when you put the eye, form what's called an empty hand, so you're not touching your eyeball. Just put that in front of your eye. Now you can do that with your eye closed, or you can do that with your eye open. But if you open your eye, you should see darkness, not light. Okay, so if you see light, then I want you to adjust the palm so that you don't see any light. What we want to see is the infrared. All right. So back. First time. This is second time. Third time. All right. So now massage the face from the forehead to the chin. Massage the side of the face. Massage the temple. Put the center of your palm on top of the temple. And then I want you to massage the forehead, but first massage in between the eyebrow. You notice that has a lot of stress accumulated here. Then I want you to massage the forehead. Then I want you to massage right at the this triangular point, okay, right here. Now I want you to massage the top of your head, understanding that that's the part of your brain that is responsible for all your cognitive function. Then I want you to move to the top, slightly back. This is the part that's responsible for all your memory. And then further down, this is the motor function. And then the neck, above the ear, back to the face, and then the hand, right? Okay, so now we're going to learn to massage around the eyes. So around the eyes, there's three energy points on top. There's three energy points on the bottom. We start at the very beginning of the eyebrow. I want you to take the index finger, just push down on it. You can, if in the beginning you might not be very aware, but after a while you notice that there is like two dimples. And now I want you to sit up straight, use your neck a little bit to provide some counter pressure. Hold it, and then now massage all three energy points on the eyebrow. You massage as if you're squeezing your toothpaste. And then I want you to massage slightly below the eyebrow. That's where the oil tubes are. So as we age, our eyes get dry because the oil tubes are blocked, and you're not getting enough oil. Therefore, the tears dry, right? The tears dry because you don't have any oil. All right. So now I want you to massage below the eye bag from the corner to the tail. Same thing on the other side. Now I want you to come back to the corner of the eye, move up slightly, and so you can feel the bone, eye socket. Now I want you to put some pressure with the thumb. I want you to close your eye. We're going to do some eye exercise. All right. Now close your eye, but rotate your eyeball up as if you're looking at the ceiling. Rotate it to the right as if you're looking very far away. Look down as if you're looking at the floor, and then now to the left. Back to up. We're going to start clockwise. Up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left. One last time. Up, right, down, left. Back to up. We're going to go counterclockwise. Left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Now open your eyes. Okay, there's two energy points called the bright eye. Okay, it actually reduces the pressure in your eye. Okay, I don't know why we're okay, much better. All right, so now we're going to take two fingers and massage from the corner of our eye to the corner of our nose to the corner of mouth, back to the chin. Second time, third time, and then now we're going to take thumb and start at the eye, go down until you feel the cheekbone, and then we're going to push up a little bit. This one actually helps you sleep too. All right. All right. So now we're going to put two index fingers outside the nostril. This is called the welcome fragrance. And so basically it has to do with what do you call that when you have stuffy nose? Anyway, okay, now this one is high blood pressure. This is really where your body senses whether or not you have enough oxygen through your artery, and it increases your blood pressure if you don't have enough oxygen. Right? Okay, so we're done. Remaining is the ears. There are 260 energy points on the ear. It reflects the rest of the body, but in an upside down manner. So the top actually reflects the kidney, the bottom reflects the eyes and the nose. All right. So we're going to divide it into three parts. All right. The Chinese believe that there's a reason for that because that's the reason why it has a shape of your fetus because it reflects the rest of the body. So we're going to put the thumb inside, fingers in the back, massage, and then fingers in the middle, and then the index finger the below, massage. Now leave the thumb behind, put the index fingers outside and massage, and then now massage the tip, yank, massage the edge, massage the ear loop, yank, and then we're going to massage the back of the ear. So the back of the ear has a lot to do with your high blood pressure, and just kind of massage the back of the ear down, and then put two fingers, one on the ear, one on the skull, from the top to the bottom. One, massage the back of the ear, and then two fingers, one on ear, one on the skull, from the top to the bottom. One last exercise. The ears are important. And sit up straight. Two hands. Put it behind. Cover. Stretch and cover. And then let go as if you're drumming it. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do the top of the head. We're going to do some tapping now. And we start with the fingers. We finish with the toes. Now we're going to start at the top of the head and we'll finish at the bottom of the feet. Right. So straight now, this one is the posture is very important because we're tapping not just the top of the head, the entire central nervous system. So it's important that you stretch your spine, you lean back, you relax, you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, you relax. You lean back the forehead so that the ears on top of the shoulder. You tuck in your chin so the top of the head is on top of your central nervous system. Then you take 10 fingers, you put that on top. This is the exercise that I used to do every day with my dad who was suffering from memory loss. You ready? Go. Now I said memory loss, which reminds me that that's actually wrong. Dementia and Alzheimer is not about memory loss. Right? So if you use Google, you'd be amazed how many centers in your neighborhood, how many facilities in the neighborhood is called memory care. Those are the people. Those are the facility that in San Francisco, many of the houses are used that way. Right? As long as they have less than 5 beds, they don't have to adhere to very strict health and safety. And so a lot of people are suffering from dementia now. It takes a year to see a neurologist in San Francisco. That's how serious it is. But it's not about memory loss. It's about balance, loss of balance, about losing cognitive function. And the memory part is really more about not able to connect long-term memory with short-term memory. So for the longest time, my father recognized me, but never as his son, right? Because his memory of me is different from what he sees in front of him. So it's not exactly memory loss. It just can't connect, right? Okay. So now we start at the top. We're going to work towards the bottom of the feet. We're going to work on the shoulder first. Shoulder right here, and then in front. And we're going to take the empty hand. I'm going to put that, fingers on top, palm in here. Sit up straight, turn your head to the right. Listen with the left ear. Wake up. Continue. And then sit up straight, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. Take the left hand, empty hand, fingers on top, and listen with the right ear. Wake up. Continue. Now, I spent a lot of time talking, explaining. The reason is that we often get new students, so it's important that we expose them to um, the, the, the understanding of what we do, but also it's to um, hopefully generate some curiosity in you. So you don't just come for the exercise, but you listen to what I say and then you go look it up yourself, right? So Martha, she does a very good job in telling us where to get information because she's been with us for many years and she has a lot of curiosity. So in addition to the Saturday class, she spends a lot of time studying on her own. That's what I really want you to do is that open yourself up to some more understanding of who we are and what I call the degrees of existence. Right? Let's continue. Now, the next four energy points are part of the eight that are called the eight cavities. They turn out to be the part of your body that is the closest to your internal, therefore they're the warmest, but they also turn out to be where the lymph nodes are. So the Chinese didn't understand lymph node, but they understand that those energy points are the one that improve your immunity. So I want you to take the left elbow, put that on top of the head. And then I want you to stretch your spine looking straight ahead. So you're stretching this part. Okay, this is now part of the heart meridian. Then I want you to take the hand and slightly pinch on the upper part of your right ear. Take your left hand, empty hand, put that here. Turn your head to the right. Get ready. Go. Continue. And then now do the other side. Stretch, left hand, right ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay, now these are the first two of the eight cavities. There are four on upper torso, and then there's four beneath in the lower part. All right, so the next two is on the wrist. So elbow. So we lock the elbow, put the palm at eye level. We take the right hand, empty hand, we wrap it around here. So fingers on top, palm on the side. Listen with the left ear, empty hand. Remember, get ready, go. Continue. And then right side, left hand, right ear. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay. So I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it last time, but 2 weeks ago I went with my mom to see our family doctor for our. In my case, I actually do that 4 times a year because I diabetic, and but my mom, she only had to see him twice a year, only one time in the office. So anyway, as my mom get older, I go with her. It was in the beginning, she goes, and then I wait outside. Now I go with her, and so I have to go into this conversation with the doctor about my mom, this and that, and then after my mom's done, she walked back to the reception, and then it was my turn. So the doctor measured my blood pressure, and he said, "Oh, pretty good, 130 over 80, not so bad." And then I look at him and said, "Now, it's only because I'm here with my mom. I get excited." I said, Normally, if I wait here for you, I can get it down really low." And he said, "Yeah, I know, because you meditate." I'm saying, like, okay, so you know the answer, right? So he knows the answer. He knows the answer to reducing high blood pressure is to meditate, because the reason for high blood pressure is either you don't have enough functionality in your heart and your lung, or that you're too stressful and you have too much stress hormone. He knows that. He knows that's the right answer. But yet his solution is to prescribe more medicine. I find it interesting. That's Western medicine for you. All right, so let's continue on the lower part. So the upper part of the body mainly has to do with your heart and the lung, and the lower part has to do with your metabolic, starting with your liver and your splint and your kidney. Okay. Now we're going to work on the liver. Now it turns out that the liver and the splint sort of coincide because they're yin energy lines, so they're inside the body. There's an energy point. If I want to be more precise, it's just right below the knee on the inside of your thigh. This one, I was looking up about cholesterol. This one actually reduces your cholesterol. So let's start with that. Get ready? And use an empty fist. Okay, get ready? Go. And then here, that's the liver. And then close your knee. On the outside is the gallbladder. Remember, gallbladder is a yang energy. So that's a vessel organ, and so its purpose is to clear the qi. So this too actually is well known among the traditional Chinese medicine doctor to reduce your chance of having a stroke. The stroke is inflammation. You ready? Go. And then above the knee is 2, below the knee is 3. So first locate this cavity right outside. Get ready. Now this one will improve your immunity. Okay, get ready, go. And then the middle. And then further down. Okay, now this is the gallbladder liver pair. Now we do the stomach splint pair. Now the stomach and the splint is responsible for your transformation, which is digestion, and responsible for your transport, which is clearing your lymphatic system to channel water back so you don't have uh, swelling. Okay, so first find the knee, four end fingers, find the bone outside the bone. This is very famous for helping with digestions. Get ready? Go. Okay, so this is transformation, digestion. Now the second point further down, that's transformation. Okay, transport, the other side. And get ready? Go. Okay, now the back of the calf is a very important energy point. So right below the calf, this is your second heart. And so high blood pressure, dementia, it's all here. Now the other side. Okay, all right, so we're going to work on the toes now. And when we work on the toes, we're back to liver again. Liver actually starts right between your big toe and the second toe. And so we're going to scrape that using the edge of the thumb again. And then when the toes join together, right before it joins, there's an energy point right here. Now it turns out that this one and this one, the four energy points, this one is the liver, and those four energy points are well known for reducing high blood pressure. Okay, now we're going to flip it over, bend the thumb. You see the tendon? Scrape the tendon. Relax. Scrape the bottom of your feet. Scrape the heel. Scrape the ball area. Massage your toes. I mentioned many times that the two easy indicator for good health is you have plenty of saliva and that your feet are not cold. Okay, those are the two. If your feet are cold, that means your circulation is bad. When your mouth is dry, that means you're under a lot of stress. All right, high blood pressure usually comes with dry mouth. Now we're going to scrape the calf. The calf is very, very important. So calf is that curve between the bone and the heel. Okay, all right. So this is, then we come up to the ankle and find the bone, scrape the inside of that. And this is true, this is important if your body retains water. Your body retains water because your embark system has some problem, right? The embark system is what's returning water. All right. Okay, so now to the bottom of your feet. This is a very important energy point called a gushing spring, pushing. And then we're going to tap the center of a feet with the center of a palm. So you roll your toes back, you form empty hand 30 times. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, now the right hand side. Scrape between your toes and the second toe, big toe and the second toe. Do some acupressure. Flip it over. Scrape the tendon. Relax. Scrape the bottom of your feet. Scrape the heel. scrape the ball area, massage your toes, and then scrape the arch, and then between the ankle and the knee, scrape below the bone, come back, do some acupressure, and then tap 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, all right. So I mentioned there is an energy line called the triple warmer, which has no Western equivalent. Triple warmer is also a mistranslation because the word is jiu, which can be translated into focus or heat. But actually, there's another translation, which is when you cook rice, the rice start to bubble, and there's a little bit of like membrane that comes up. So it's actually membrane. So like when we say triple warmer, we're talking about the totality of our internals, because the totalities of our internals are separated into three parts: what's above the diaphragm, what's below the diaphragm but above the belly button, and what's below the belly button. What's above the diaphragm is mainly fire, because that's where the heart is. What's below the belly button is mainly water. That's where the kidneys are. And so when the energy doesn't flow properly, what suffers is in the middle, which is basically the soil. So think about the farming equivalent. You need water, you need the sun, and you need them to work together into the soil. And so a big part of our problem with the health is we call the water and the fire doesn't mix. The water and the fire doesn't mix. And so when you have dry mouth, that's because the water element doesn't rise high enough. And when you have cold feet, that's because the fire element doesn't go down further enough. And so the exercise that we just did, tapping the bottom of feet, the bottom of feet is water, the center of a palm is fire, is called a mixing the water and fire. Okay. All right. So let's continue. We're going to do some floor exercise now. And I mentioned there's 8 cavities, which are the warmest part of your body. They're the most closest to your internal organs, energy lines, that is. The remaining 4 is behind your knee. Now, the behind your knee is the bladder energy line, which is the yang side of the kidney. The lower part of your back is where the kidneys are. And so the Chinese doctor believe that when you have back problem, it's because you have kidney deficiency. And so this energy point also works wonder with your lower back problem. So I want you to lower your knee, put 4 fingers behind, thumb on the side, stretch your back a little bit. So you're looking straight ahead. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, the very last 2 is right here. This is where the nimnops are. Get ready. Use your fist, flat side of fist. Get ready, 30 times. Okay, now we to get ready for the Yi Jing Jing exercise. Okay, so I'm running out of time a little bit, which happens on Saturday because I spent a lot of time explaining. In any case, let's go through that. It's a very important exercise. Uh, this and the pranayama, the breathing exercise, are what I believe to be our companions as we age. Those two exercises really reverse the aging process, what we call it mindful aging, right? All right, so now this exercise is very short, very intense, which means that they exercise your sympathetic nerve, right? Creating stress hormone to reduce chronic inflammation, which is good. But the Chinese also believe that health is in harmony, not in extremes. So as much as we energize the body, we also have to spend equal time in restoring the body, restoring sensitivity to the steroid. So when I ask you after each exercise, when I ask you to pay attention to your breath, I want you to take it seriously. Okay, now get ready. First, we're going to rotate the toes inward, loosening up the knees slightly so you're activating the calf. The calf is what we call second heart, allows the energy to rise to the top of the head. Then I want you to open that shoulder, relax the shoulder. I want you to lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin. So the first exercise is called spirit boosting palm. It's a shock wave through the center part all the way to the top of the head. You do that by pointing the palm downward and you move your palms back slightly so that it forms a plane. Okay, now you put it in front, the shock is not going to go up. You put it behind, not going to work. You got to put it behind, on your hip level on both sides. But also, you need to make sure that you're leaning back the forehead, tucking the chin, so the shock wave has a chance to rise all the way to the top. Okay? Now, I'm going to say go, but don't listen to me. As soon as I say go, I want you to then focus on yourself. Make sure your mind is the center of your palm, and you don't push down with brute force. You push down mind, body together. You ready? Go. And then now, this is the important part. I want you to come back to the breath. I want you to find the beginning of your breath. I know I'm breathing in. I want you to find the end of your breath. I know I'm breathing out. Then I want you to do the second one. I know I'm breathing, completely focused, relax. I know I'm breathing out. I also want you to check the inside your mouth, see if there's any slivers inside your mouth. If you're not relaxed, you're not restoring, your inside mouth will be very dry. Close your mouth, okay? Second time, get ready, go. And then back to your breath. One breath, two breath. Again, check the inside your mouth. One last time, get ready, go. And then back to your breath. One breath, two breath. Now, next one is about activating your thumb, activating both your lung and your large intestine, essentially activating your mineral energy lines. I want you to lift up your hand, point your thumb towards your hip, roll up the four fingers. Imagine you're putting two buckets of water on top of your thumb, and you lift up the two buckets of water as hard as you can. And then you relax. But don't lower your hand. Maintain the energy loop. Second time. And then relax. Now, activating the mineral energy line means two things. It means sending the nutrients through your body, but it also means sending the toxins out of your body. One last time. And then relax, lower your hand, back to your breath. Okay, the next one is called beginner's heart. I mentioned that the baby, the human baby, doesn't know anything, doesn't know how to do anything, but they do know how to do this. They know how to hold your fingers. So this is what they do when they're inside the mother's womb. They hold the thumb And then you just have to squeeze your fist as hard as you can. That's all. And then open your hand, don't lower your fingers, and just relax. One breath at a time. Restore that self healing. Second time, relax. Don't lower your hands. One breath, two breath. One last time. And then lower your hand, completely relax. Now I want you to take a deep breath by putting your fists together right below your belly button. I want you to stand up awkwardly and breathe in with your nose. Breathe in. Relax. Now I want you to bring your elbows together. Imagine now you're wearing a sweater that's just two sizes too small, and you want to stretch that sweater by stretching your back. And relax. Second time. Now this is similar to do the cupping, right? Some of you knows the cupping. They put suction cups in the back. The athletes does that now. Release pain, improve your healing. Get ready. So we're doing the same thing. Stretch the back, open that back, and then relax. One last time. Stretch your back, and then relax. So we do a lot of stretching, but not stretching the muscle. We're stretching the fascia. Okay. Now I want you to open your shoulder, bring your fists on top of your head, open your fingers as if you're letting the blood flow through the tip of your fingers. And now we're going to fold roll our fist, one joint, two joint, lock it with the thumb, open the shoulder, and we're going to squeeze as hard as you can, doing cardio with our heart. Then we're going to relax, let the blood come back up, focusing on the breathing. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. Next one to stabbing the shoulder, working on the back where we were doing massage earlier. And so I want you to open the shoulder. Imagine you're grabbing two daggers. I want you to point the dagger to your shoulder, open that shoulder, and then stab. And I want you to feel the tightness in the back of your neck as if you were doing some acupressure. And then I want you to relax, open your hands, feel the chi going to the top of your head. One breath, two breath. Now open the shoulder, stab, and then relax. One last time, stab, and then relax. Back to the breathing. Check the inside your mouth. Okay, close your mouth. Now the next one is called the cross. It's really about the triple warmer. So it's really energizing all the connected tissue inside your body. So you make a cross, you rotate your wrist. Remember, there's energy points along your wrist. You roll your fist, you take a deep breath, and you just push as hard as you can, as if there's two trees on the side, and you're just going to push it down, and then relax. Back to the breathing. The restoration is very important, okay? Second time. And you push, and then relax. One last time. And you push, and then relax. Now, this exercise is so important that we do it one more time in the front. It's called front hanging. So you lock your elbow, then you rotate your wrist, you roll your fist as if you have a tree in front, and you push, and then relax. Second time. And you push, and then you relax. One last time. And you push, and then you relax. Now we're going to do some chin up. So we've done some stretching, We've done some cardio. Now it's all about muscle. And it's particularly about this muscle. Remember I said it's very important. So you lift up your arm, you look up as if you're doing pull up. You grab the bar and you pull yourself up as hard as you can. Don't lose that muscle and then relax. Second time, relax. And then one last time, and then relax. All right. So these days, people who research longevity, they understand now losing a muscle is the first sign of aging. So we want to restore that. We can continue, and I call this ripping the phone book. Grab the phone book and just rip, and then relax. You don't know what a phone book is, look it up, okay? You're too young for this class. Rip, relax. One last time. Rip, and then relax. Now, you're gonna collect all the slivers. It's very important. And we're gonna swallow those slivers. Okay? Those slivers are the key to your immune system, your digestive system, and your reproductive system. Okay, ready? Swallow. Now, the next exercise is very important to your kidney. So I want you to go back to your knee, loosening up your knee, pointing the toes inward, straighten up your back of the hand touching. Without locking your knee, I want you to lower your back, putting pressures on your kidney. Looking straight down, back of the hand touching, locking your elbow. Squeeze your fist one time, back of the hand touching. Second time, third time. Rotate your hands to looking at the center of your palm. Don't stand up, okay? Don't stand up. Still bending your knees slightly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Lower your knee. See that big rock in front of you? Push. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, so we only have 2 minutes left. We're going to sit for 7 minutes, okay? I'm going to do 5 minutes of overtime. Then I'm going to do the Dharma talks, but you don't need to stay for the Dharma talk. You don't need to, but I recommend that you stay for this, okay? Because it's very important that after you do the energetic exercise, you spend equal time on restorative. So we're going to skip some of the preliminaries, but assume that you know how to sit properly, which means stretching your spine, open the shoulder, lean back, relax, lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin, relax the eyelid, and then putting the tip of the tongue in between your teeth and your roof of your mouth, close your mouth. And assume that you know how to do focusing on your belly, open your belly when you breathe in, push the belly button forward. I assume that you know how to breathe out by bringing back your belly button. So I know there's some new students. I know there's some new students. So I promise next time I'm going to spend a little more time. But this time I'm going to assume some of the older students know how to do this already. Now I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine. And as you breathe in, stretch the spine, move to the top of the head. And then when you breathe out, come back to the belly button. Lean back and relax. Let's just sit for 5 minutes. Okay, we already spent 2 minutes. Okay, open your eyes. All right, so the best way to find me, in addition to doing a search, is just go to Denny K Miu, Denny K Miu MIU.com. That's my landing page. And if you add a slash YouTube slash Facebook slash Patreon, then you go to my other social platforms, including slash insight dash timers. All right. Someone asked me, what's this K stand for? K is my name. Danny is my given name after I came to the United States. It was supposed to be Danny, Danny, but I forgot, misspelled it when I got to my high school. Anyway, so we only set for 5 minutes today, but that's all the time that we have. But I want you to develop a habit of sitting meditation for at least 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes is 1% of your day. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. It's a very good investment. But you can sit in the morning, you can sit at night, but I don't want you to just sit, especially not after you wake up, because you don't have a clear mind. You don't have enough circulation in the body. So stand for 5 minutes. That's the easiest. And then sit. Okay. When you stand, especially when you stand with the knee slightly bent like that, then it actually activating the second heart and you get much better circulation. Then you sit. All right. So that's good. So before I start my Dharma talk today, I just thought about how I can explain the body and how I can explain what we do here in terms of self-healing. Back in the days, back in the days when I was in high school, my first car was a 1967 Chevrolet Impala that has a 375 V8 engine. My second car was a 1969 Thunderbird that had a 350 engine. So I grew up knowing how to fix cars. We all do. So high blood pressure is a very, very serious thing, but it's not an illness. Illness is a symptom to much deeper. During the pandemic, we lost about 1.5 million fellow Americans due to the pandemic. 95% of them have high blood pressure. They were never cured. They were given medicine to knock down the symptom. So the two reasons for high blood pressure, one is like having a bad carburetor and dirty plugs. So when you have a car, old car, you need to rebuild the carburetor because it's not mixing the fuel right. Or the last guy who had the car never changed the spark plug, so your car misfired. So you know, compensate, the engine has to work really, really hard. That's what happens when your lung and your heart are not working properly and you don't have enough oxygen into your brain. Your body increases blood pressure to compensate. The other reasons for having high blood pressure is like you're stepping on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. We used to do it. We used to do that. You're kidding? We used to do that back in the days when I first started driving in the early part of 1970. Most people don't know how to drive automatic. They learn how to drive with the manual transmission. So when they switch over to the automatic, they didn't know what to do with the left foot, so they put that on the brake, and so you'll be driving down the street. All the cars would have the red light on because they're putting both feet, one on the accelerator, one on the brakes. So that's going to wear the engine, right? So the engine has to compensate, has to work hard. The equivalent of that is that you're under too much stress. You're under too much stress. I know you're under too much stress because you keep drinking water. The key to health is not hydration. The key to health is self-hydration. All right, so keep that in mind. Okay, so that is definitely the end of class. So if you want to stay for the Dharma talk, you're welcome. If you don't have enough time to allocate to this, then go look up my social media, and it will be recorded. Okay. So let me remind ourselves what we've been through since the election. I find it necessary to start talking about Buddha teaching because I talk about how the end of a journey is the liberation or the emancipation of a mind. I talk about how the degrees of existence can be explained by the five skandhas, only one of which has to do with our physical existence, which are not only uh, body, eyes and the nose and the tongues and the ears and the body and the brain, but also the physics. It's the physics and the physiology together is called the rupa, the form. Once we are energized by the outside, we create electrical signal in the nerve system. All the nerve endings goes to a spine. That's what we call sensation. We don't make any judgment yet. We just sense it. All that signal goes to our brain. That's called perception. That's when we start to decide what is it that we see. It could be physical objects. It could be behavior. It's then we decided that either we like or we don't like. And then the next step is to create what we call the mental volition. And we separate these mental volition, these mental factors into 51 mental factors. Only 11 of them is what we call virtuous. We talk a great deal about what's virtuous. We also talk a great deal about not non-virtuous. And we said the rest of these mental factors, the non-virtuous, can be summarized into the five hindrances. The simplest way to explain hindrance is none of them makes you happy. The fear, the anxiety, the anger, the violence, the jealousy, all that. We talk about how the yogis, keep in mind that Buddha was a yogi once upon a time. He was not Indian. He was a prince. He decided to leave home to become a yogi. And he practiced the yoga practice for 6 years. And I talk about the yoga practice in terms of the 8 limbs of yoga. In addition to the one that we're familiar with, which is called asana, the practice of the body, there's also the practice of the breath, what's called the pranayama. There's also the practice of the mind. And then eventually is something called jhana, which translates eventually to zen, which means sedimentation. Let all your non-virtuous thought sink to allow the virtuous thought to rise. And then finally, something called samadhi, one point concentration. But the prerequisites of that is something called yama and niyama. Both of which is to promote virtuous thoughts. I'll come back to that in a minute. Today, I'm going to talk about the difference between Buddhist teaching and what we consider yogi teaching, because he was a yogi. So what was it that he did that was so different that allows him to start this whole Buddhist belief? In order to understand that, we have to get back to the five skandhas. In order to understand that, we have to talk about one of my favorite rock and roll singer, Tina Turner. Let's get back to the five skandhas. I talked about the form, talked about the perception, talked about before that was a sensation, it was a form, sensation, perception, and the volition. But there's one more. It's called the consciousness. Buddha believed that for any mental action, not physical action, for every mental action, you leave behind a record somewhere in the universe. That record is called karma. Now, I'm a scientist and engineer, and so I try to understand that from a modern perspective. A mental action is like electricity, but electricity generates magnetism. And once you have magnetism, it leaves behind a record, right? That's how we make magnets. Is that we wrap electrical signal coil around it. We put it into a battery. I used to do that as a kid. Some of you might have. You take a rusty nail, you wrap some coil around it, you connect it to the battery, you take away the battery, and the nail becomes magnetized, right? So that magnetization is like karma. You leave behind a record. But it does more. It does more. That record is not just a passive record. That record actually becomes a major contribution to your next mental action. That's how motor works. A permanent magnet motor works that way, right? It's got a magnet. It takes motion, and once that permanent magnet rotates in a set of coil, it does the reverse. It actually generates electricity. So karma is like that. Karma is like that. For every mental action, whether it's virtuous or non-virtuous, it leaves behind a record. But the next time, that record doesn't go away. It actually becomes the driving force for your next mental action. So pretty soon, it's like the story I told you where Buddha was walking with his attendant Ananda. And he talks about the banyan tree. Once you start a non-virtuous thought, it's like the tree that consumes the original tree. That's why we call it the five hindrances. Because it's not like an angel and a devil, they're co-equal. It's more like we were the angel, and the hindrances is what's wrapped around us. It's like the cloud covering the sun. We can't get out because of the dark cloud. Now, before Buddha came along, the idea of the karma is that it is you. You are your karma. Once upon a time, when I was a professor, I had a lot of Indian students. One of my best students were Indians. My very first PhD students, where he had to defend his thesis in front of us, was an Indian. Very smart, very smart. So smart, I can't even follow him. He was so smart. So one day I asked him, I said, Buddha was an Indian. Buddhism starts from India, but yet Buddhism did not survive in India. He said, no, it did not survive. He says, we actually have more Catholics in India than we have Buddhists. We actually don't believe in Buddhism. He says, that's why we have so many beggars in the street. I said, why is that? He says, well, it's their karma. Karma cannot be changed. So if you try to help them, you change the karma, you make it worse for them. They have to kind of work through the system. So when Buddha was a prince, he saw that. He said, that's not true. That cannot be true. That is just a tool that is used by the oppressor. Because if you understand anything about India, you know that they have castes. the people in the upper caste have lighter skins and the people who have the lower caste have darker skins. That's because the low upper caste are the invaders. They were Aryans, same as Hitler. They were people from Northern Europe that came down because of the Ice Age. They have very superior weaponry, and they were occupiers. And in order to maintain control, they come up with this idea of karma, that you are who you are, and that's the way it is. And we don't mix. We were the descendants of the Brahmins, and therefore we are who we are. And Buddha came along and said that cannot be right. He was actually a social worker, and he wanted to bring equality. So he came up with this idea, or at least he understood it as the truth, that karma can be changed. And that's the whole idea of Buddhism, is that karma can be changed. Don't let karma become you. And that's why ever since the election, I started changing my teaching. I continue the exercise, but yet I focus now on Buddhist teaching, because don't let karma become you. When you find yourself all of a sudden in a country where the people who are in power now are merchandising in hate and violence and anger, as opposed to the virtuous, which was the way it used to be. I had 10 presidents. I've been through all 10 presidents. I talk about the slogans. I talk about how we used to focus on the merits, the service to the country, nation before party. That's all gone now. That is the reality now. But now is the time to protect yourself. Because if you follow the fear and the anger and the violence and the discrimination and all that, that becomes you. Because for every non-virtuous thought, it leaves behind a record called a karma. And that record becomes the driving force to the next factor, mental factor. And pretty soon, you'll be consumed by that. And that's why Buddhist teaching is so important. You can change that. Don't let it become you. So next week, I'm going to talk about the practice, how to change your karma, how to prevent the non-virtuous karma becomes you. But before I finish, I want you to be aware, if not, go out and acquire the book by Tina Turner. I believe the name is Happiness Becomes You. Now, Venerable Hong actually spent time talking about Tina Turner. I only know about Tina Turner being a Buddhist after she died. I was amazed. So you need to go and study her story. Obviously, she comes from a very, very poor background. She had the talent to sing. She sang in the choir. But she married the wrong person. I trained her. Her former husband was very abusive, very controlling. So by all definition, by all standards, she lives a very miserable life from her childhood. There's a lot of detail in there, to when she grew up, to when she became an adult and become a wife and a mother. But she decided that she can control, I mean, she can change her karma. She decided that she can. And she did it by following not only Buddha, but Christ himself. Because next week I want to talk about how to change your karma both outside and inside. It starts with gratitude. And then it goes to forgiveness. Forgiveness is very big, very hard. I don't think I can ever forgive anyone who voted for Trump. I am so sorry. I just can't. But at least I can work towards acceptance. I'm not sure I can even accept them. But at least I can work towards understanding. So in the future, I'm going to talk about the Buddhist teaching with the emphasis of don't let karma become you, especially the non-virtuous karma. And talk about how this election is actually a very, very important learning opportunity for us to practice gratitude, understanding, which eventually becomes acceptance and forgiveness. Same as Tina Turner. Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, everyone. All right. So I see you all next week. Be careful out there, okay? Bye bye. Okay, 星期一見，拜拜。